Nice to hear from you, Praveen. Hi, Lisa. It's difficult for me to understand that I have no choice. It appears I do. For example, I can choose to eat now or eat an hour later. If I have no choice, then I cannot be responsible for anything. So if I cause any harm to someone, I can't be held accountable because I didn't choose it. Will that be right? Yes, but the body will be held accountable. So if I went out now and I drank loads of alcohol, and then I crashed and I killed lots of people, this body will be held accountable, and most people in society will hate you and throw rocks at you. You couldn't have done it any other way, and that's the truth of it, but that's not the way that it is in society. And that was also the perfect play of things. But it appears like you have a choice, so it appears like I can choose not to do that, and you can choose not to do that. But it's actually just up-to-date conditioning and genetics. So it is really crazy. All the people that we blame and we hate out there couldn't be any different. There's nobody that can be any different. So what does that mean? It means that you are absolutely free of responsibility. But the human has responsibility. So if I don't look after Khaleesi, it's my responsibility. I would be charged with animal abuse, because there's consequences for the actions. But yeah, it's really full on. You couldn't choose to do any differently. So everyone that you blame, including yourself, isn't guilty. It's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. I remember Wayne Lickerman when there was a teacher called Wayne Lickerman. He was a student of Ramesh Bolsaka, and he used to come to London. And I remember when I was about like 22, 23, I ended up going to talk with him with a friend, and I remember that I was just getting used to these concepts, and he said, who would choose to be the predator, the perpetrator? Who would choose to be the murderer or the paedophile, the rapist, or Hitler, whatever one do you want to say, or Stalin? Who would choose to be that? This is our assumption that somebody chooses to be like that. And it's actually that assumption which adds to hate. So what we call evil in this world, which leads to evil, this illusion. Actually, that might be too dramatic, because I used to be more of a hippie and believe that everybody had empathy and compassion, but I began to realize that there's people that just don't have that in their brain, and that's what we define as evil in our society, as people that don't have compassion or empathy for what they do. But there's some people that don't have that arise in their brain, and I feel like everyone can be free. So even people without compassion or empathy, so what we would call as sociopaths or psychopaths, I think they can also be free. Why not? Like, you don't have to be compassionate or kind on the human level. But often blame and guilt are the cornerstones of identity. Like, what you're always looking for is, are you guilty or are they guilty? And you're always trying to define the way in which you should act. Like, should I be like this? Should I be like that? Rather than this dropping into the unknown and living from this place of unknown. I'm not saying the character does that, because the character always knows things. I'm talking about this shift in perception, where there's sort of like this distancing from the character. So the character still is acting from the known in a way, but the perception goes back to this not knowing. It's really hard to talk about in detail. I try my best. I never can get it right. Isn't that crazy? Imagine doing a job and knowing you can never get it right. You can't also get it wrong, but I can never, like if I was a plumber, I could say, you know, this pipe leads to here and this is the right way to do it. Yeah, on the ultimate level, that like in 100, 200 years time, we'll have better technology and there'll be a better way to do it. But that is kind of like right and wrong. And if you don't fix this pipe up to that pipe, then there's an explosion of water that happens. Kind of, you can kind of see it like that. Whereas in non-duality, I can't say it right. I can't do it right because there's always a different way you can say it because it's not in words. Which that can be really liberating, but it also can be like,